Hello everybody and welcome to the Burnout Network's 2021 IndyCar Season Preview. With all the team and driver changes from 2020, we wanted to give you a quick look at what happened during silly season. We'll start out with the full-time teams. Team Penske returns in 2021, and this year they'll go back to fielding 4 full-time entries. The number 2 for Josef Newgarden, the number 3 for Scott Mclaughlin, the number 12 for Will Power, and the number 22 for Simon Pagino. The two-time IndyCar champion returns to the number 2 this season after finishing runner-up in the 2020 championship point standings. After earning 4 wins last year, Josef Newgarden is primed and ready to become just the 13th driver to win 3 American Open Wheel Championship titles. He did finish in the top 5 in points every single season since joining Team Penske, and he's only missing the elusive Indy 500 victory. 3-time Supercar champion Scott Mclaughlin makes the move from Supercars to full-time IndyCar Series racing. While Scott only has 1 start to his name before his rookie season in 2021, he still has lots of time to learn. Being only 27 years old, he still was able to get lots of experience overseas and was the youngest driver to ever win in a supercar. The 2014 IndyCar champion and 2018 Indy 500 winner, Will Power returns to the number 12 Verizon Chevrolet in 2021. Will Power's finished top 5 in the points every season that he's raced with Team Penske in IndyCar, and he's earned 1 IndyCar victory every single year dating back to 2007. Will currently sits second in all-time polls for the IndyCar Series, and is also in the top 5 for all-time open wheel victories. In short, he's someone you'll have to contend with each race weekend. 2016 IndyCar champion and 2019 Indy 500 winner Simon Pagino returns to the 22 for Team Penske in 2021. Despite earning a win in Iowa last season, 2020 was the worst season statistically for Simon Pagino since joining Team Penske. Many are keeping their eye on the Frenchman as he needs to improve his finishes in 2021, or he may lose his ride to the next young up-and-coming talent in open-wheel racing. The championship-winning organization Chip Ganassi Racing also returns in 2021 with 4 full-time entries. The team will field the number 8 for Marcus Erickson, the number 9 for Scott Dixon, the number 10 for Alex Palou, and the number 48, which will be split by Jimmie Johnson racing on the road courses and Tony Kanaan racing on the ovals. After racing multiple seasons in Formula One and finding himself without a seat, Marcus Erickson made the move to America to race full-time in the IndyCar Series. He did earn 1 podium in 2019 and improved in 2020 in top 5s, earning 3 compared to 1 in 2019. But he has yet to finish in the top 10 in the end-of-year point standings, with 12th place being his career best. Perhaps 2021 is the year he crosses that threshold. Winner of 6 IndyCar championships and your defending championship winner Scott Dixon returns to the number 9 in 2021. Dixon found victory lane 4 times in 2020 en route to his championship victory and stood on the podium for 7 out of the 13 events. Scott currently sits 3rd on the all-time open wheel racing wins list, and he doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. Alex Palou joins the Chip Ganassi Racing team after competing his 2020 rookie campaign with Dale Coyne Racing. Despite missing out on the Rookie of the Year title, Alex Palou had speed all season in what many would consider a mid-pack team. He was able to make it to the podium last year at Road America, and now that he's with a top team, he'll have a chance to show what he can do behind the wheel. 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Jimmie Johnson moves to the IndyCar Series to compete on the road course events for Chip Ganassi Racing. Despite winning in virtually any type of car he's driven, he has yet to be on track in an IndyCar in race conditions. Despite his immense talent, don't be surprised if we see Jimmie towards the back of the pack in the early parts of the season. Competing in the 48 car on the oval tracks is the 2004 champion and 2013 Indy 500 winner, Tony Kanaan. Tony Kanaan has gone winless since 2014 and was dropped to a part-time schedule in 2020, but he now finds himself behind the wheel of a Chip Ganassi Honda yet again, and now has his best shot to make it back to victory lane before the fan favorite hangs up his helmet. The last of the 4-car teams brings us to Andretti Autosport. Andretti will field the number 26 for Colton Herta, the number 27 for Alexander Rossi, the number 28 for Ryan Hunter-Reay, and the 29 for James Hinchcliffe. Despite only earning one victory in 2020, the young Colton Herta finished third in the point standings at the end of the year in 2020, moving up from 7th in 2019. After becoming the youngest IndyCar winner in series history, Colton has continued to improve every single race weekend, and if he's able to turn those top fives into victories, Colton could be a dark horse for the series championship. The 2016 Indy 500 champion returns to the 27 Honda for Andretti Autosport, coming off of a win in the 2021 Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona. Alex will be looking to continue that positive momentum after an abysmal 2020 season that saw him fall to 9th place in the point standings and was the first winless IndyCar season since he joined the series. Fans all across the world hope that Rossi returns with a vengeance in 2021. The 2012 Series and 2014 Indy 500 champion Ryan Hunter-Reay returns to his number 28 Honda. Despite being known for his dependability and consistency behind the wheel, Ryan Hunter-Reay's results of late have not been stellar. The 28 was only able to earn a 10th place points finish in 2020, and he's only won 2 races dating back to 2016. We'll have to wait and see if Hunter-Reay and Andretti Autosport are able to make 2021 a comeback season. Speaking of comebacks, James Hinchcliffe makes it back to full-time IndyCar racing after spending 2020 behind the wheel part-time and in front of the camera for NBC Sports. Hinch was called up to finish the season for the 26 car in 2020 and was rewarded with a chance to return to Andretti Autosport with a full-time ride. Despite his outgoing personality and talent behind the wheel, James Hinchcliffe has only finished in the top 10 in points once since the 2014 season. Hinch needs to put up results as this may be his last chance at a full-time ride with a world-class organization. The Arrow McLaren SP team will head back to the track in 2021 with 2 full-time entries, the number 5 for Pato O'Ward and the number 7 for Felix Rosenqvist. The 2018 Indy Lights champion had a breakout year in 2020 after only competing part-time in the IndyCar Series in 2019. O'Ward was able to snag a 4th place points finish in 2020, and he earned the Indy 500 Rookie of the Year honors in the process. After earning a pole and 4 podiums in 2020, many people point to Pato O'Ward to be the next first-time winner in the NTT INDYCAR Series. After finishing 11th in points in 2020, a regression from his 6th place finish in 2019, Felix moves over from Chip Ganassi Racing to the Arrow McLaren team. Despite earning his first win in 2020 at Road America, consistency was the issue for Felix. Despite moving from one of the top teams in open wheel racing, Arrow McLaren showed just last season that they have the speed to compete. So if Felix can keep his car clean, don't be surprised if we see him in victory lane in 2021. The Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing team continues with their same 2-car lineup they've had for multiple seasons. The number 15 will be driven by Graham Rahal, and the number 30 driven by Takuma Sato. Graham Rahal returns to the family-owned team back in that number 15 Honda yet again. Despite not making it to victory lane, Graham was able to stand on the podium 3 times in 2020 and earned a 6th place points finish. While Graham has not won a race since 2017, you can always rely on him to get you to the end of the race, as he's finished in the top 10 in the point standings every season from 2015 till the present day. As the team continues to improve, don't be surprised to see Rahal in the mix. 2-time and defending Indy 500 champion Takuma Sato returns to the number 30 Honda for Rahal Letterman Lanigan. The driver from Japan was able to earn a 7th place points finish in 2020 and was able to increase his win streak to 4 years in the IndyCar Series. Sato is not afraid to get aggressive on the track, and with the improvements that the Rahal team and Honda have made in the past few seasons, Sato is one you do not want to count out, especially at Indianapolis. Carpenter Racing will return to the track as a 2-car effort in 2021. The number 20 will be driven by Conor Daly on the road courses and Ed Carpenter on the oval tracks, and the number 21 will be driven by Rinus VeeKay all season long. While Conor Daly has driven for multiple teams over the last few years, he does seem to have found a home with Ed Carpenter Racing. Unfortunately, results from last season weren't too much to write home about. Many people, including Ed Carpenter, believe in his talent and are hoping for better results in the 20 car this season. Ed Carpenter on the ovals did not fare much better, as 5 of his 6 finishes in 2020 were 15th or worse. Fortunately, the same cannot be said for the number 21. After winning a race every single year throughout his journey through the road to Indy and finishing first or second in points in every series, Ed Carpenter promoted him to full-time IndyCar competition. Rinus would have multiple competitive races on the year and earned a podium on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. That, as well as multiple top 5 and top 10 finishes, helped earn him the 2020 Rookie of the Year title. Dale Coyne Racing returns to the IndyCar Series with 2 full-time entries for 2021. The number 18 Vassar Sullivan-backed entry will be driven by Ed Jones, and the number 51 Rick Ware-backed entry will be driven part-time by Romain Grosjean on the road courses and Pietro Fitipaldi on the ovals. After a year away from the sport, the 2016 Indy Lights champ Ed Jones heads back to Dale Coyne Racing to compete in the IndyCar Series full-time. Despite earning the 2017 Indy 500 Rookie of the Year title and a couple other podiums, Ed Jones was never able to stay consistent throughout the full season. This time, he has a second chance to show he can do just that. After competing for more than a decade in Formula One, Romain Grosjean moves to the States to compete on all IndyCar road course events for 2021. With 0 IndyCar starts under his belt, Grosjean simply looks to improve week by week and help build up that Dale Coyne Racing program. When the 51 hits the track on the ovals, Haas F1 driver Pietro Fitipaldi will be behind the wheel. After running a few races in 2018 for the team, Fittipaldi will look to get up to speed at Texas so he can qualify for his first Indy 500. The Meyer Shank Racing team returns to the IndyCar Series in 2021, and they'll field the number 60 once again for driver Jack Harvey. After spending a few years behind the wheel driving a part-time schedule, Meyer Shank Racing went full-time for the first time in its history in 2020. The team improved greatly from past seasons, with Jack Harvey finishing 6 of the 13 IndyCar races in the top 10, earning him a top 15 points finish at the end of the season. Should the number 60 team be able to find a little more speed, don't be too surprised if we see Jack Harvey on the podium sometime this season. The AJ Foyt Racing team will return to the IndyCar Series as a 2-car effort in 2021. Number 4 will be driven by Dalton Kellett, and the number 14 will be driven by Sebastian Bourdain. After competing part-time for the team in 2020, Dalton Kellett has been promoted to a full-time ride with AJ Foyt Racing. Unfortunately, Kellett was not able to score a top 10 finish in 2020 and was not able to find victory lane during his time in the Road to Indy Ladder Series. The team hopes Dalton will improve with more experience and by leaning on his championship-winning teammate. After spending 2020 running full-time in the IMSA Sports Car Championship, the 4-time IndyCar champion Sebastian Bourdain returns to full-time IndyCar competition. Despite only running 3 races with the AJ Foyt Racing team, he was able to score a top 5, showing that the right driver can get it done for the struggling AJ Foyt team. Should Bourdain have a decent enough car underneath them and have the right strategy, we could see that 14 competing for a win in 2021. The 24th and final full-time entry for the 2021 IndyCar season will be fielded by Carlin. The number 59 Chevrolet will be driven by Max Chilton on the road course races as well as the Indy 500, while the oval driver has yet to be announced. After spending a few years in Formula One and in Indy Lights, Max Chilton drove in 3 full-time IndyCar seasons from 2016 to 2018. Since that 2019 season, he's only driven the road course events as well as the Indy 500. Unfortunately, he has yet to earn an IndyCar podium and has not scored a top 10 finish for the Carlin team. The team does hope that the move to just fielding 1 IndyCar entry will help build the team and improve their finishes. While the oval driver has not yet been announced, many expect it to once again be Conor Daly. With a few decent qualifying and race runs in the 59 last season, as well as his schedule lining up perfectly, Conor Daly would be a decent fit behind the wheel of the 59. We'll now take a look at the teams competing on a part-time basis or as Indy 500 only entries. Meyer Shank Racing will field a second car on a part-time basis in 2021. Helio Castroneves will drive the number 06 Honda in 6 races for the year. After a legendary IndyCar career with Team Penske, Helio moved to the IMSA program for the captain and earned the 2020 IMSA Sports Car Championship. With the closure of Penske's IMSA team, Helio was left looking for a ride to compete for his 4th Indy 500, and Meyer Shank Racing was sure to snap him up to compete for wins in 2021. The Arrow McLaren team will also field a part-time entry for a former Penske driver in 2021. Juan Pablo Montoya will be behind the wheel of the number 86 Chevrolet for both races in the month of May at Indianapolis. The 1999 IndyCar champ and 2-time Indy 500 champ is looking for yet another Borg Warner trophy. After competing full-time for the captain in IMSA competition and winning the 2019 championship, Montoya is back at Indy to add yet another marquee win to his already extravagant resume. AJ Foyt Racing will be fielding 2 part-time entries this year in the month of May. Charlie Kimball will drive the number 11 for both Indianapolis races, and J.R. Hildebrand will be in a special number 1 entry for the Indy 500. After competing full-time in IndyCar in all but one season dating back to 2011, Charlie Kimball looks to return to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to show that he can still make it to victory lane. Kimball does have 1 IndyCar Series win as well as a pole to go with 6 IndyCar podiums. While only on a part-time basis, many point to Kimball as a possible Indy 500 spoiler, especially if strategy comes into play. The 2009 Indy Lights champ J.R. Hildebrand returns to the Indy 500 for another chance to win the big race, this time with AJ Foyt. Hildebrand, with the permission of Ganassi Racing not using the championship number 1, will drive a throwback scheme inspired by AJ Foyt's first Indy 500 win 60 years ago. With 3 IndyCar podiums and 4 top 10 finishes in the Indy 500, J.R. Hildebrand knows how to keep his car clean to have a chance at winning the big race. A new entry to the NTT INDYCAR Series, Beretta Autosport looks to qualify for their first Indy 500 with Simona De Silvestro behind the wheel of the number 16 Chevrolet. Despite having not raced in the IndyCar Series since 2015, Simona has stayed busy, driving in Formula E as well as supercars and other different racing series. With technical support coming from Team Penske, the Beretta Autosport team should have everything they need to have a successful month of May. Ed Carpenter Racing is expected to enter a 3rd car for the Indianapolis 500, the number 47 to be driven by Conor Daly. Daly, who is already confirmed to drive the road course events for the Ed Carpenter Racing team, will also be driving in the Indy 500. Conor is looking to overcome the bad luck he's had in previous races and compete for a win at his hometown track in the state of Indiana. Andretti Autosport is expected to enter 2 extra cars for the Indy 500 come this May. The number 98 will be driven by Marco Andretti, and a second car with a number and driver yet to be announced will also be entered for the Indy 500. The unannounced team is not confirmed which driver will be behind the wheel, though rumors do include drivers such as Stefan Wilson, Oriol Servia, and Oliver Askew, among others. After winning the Indy 500 pole last season, Marco Andretti moves from full-time competition to an Indy 500 only entry. While Marco only has 2 wins in the IndyCar Series dating back to 2006 and is coming off of his worst points finish in 2020, he does have a decent record at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. In 15 attempts at the Indy 500, Marco has finished 8 races inside the top 10. So as long as he stays out of trouble, don't count out Andretti on Memorial Day weekend. The Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing team has confirmed they will field a 3rd Indy 500 only entry yet again in 2021. The number 45 will be driven this season by Santino Ferrucci. After multiple seasons in the NTT INDYCAR Series, Santino Ferrucci moved this season to a part-time schedule in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. The Connecticut driver returns though to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for another try at winning the 500. In only 2 attempts at Indy, Ferrucci has finished 7th and 4th, making him a great choice to put in the 3rd Rahal Letterman Lanigan Honda to have a chance at winning this May. Dale Coyne Racing will be fielding a 3rd Indy 500 only entry with a partnership with Rick Ware Racing. While a driver for the number 52 entry has not yet been announced, all signs point to Cody Ware attempting his first Indy 500. After running many races in the Asian Le Mans Series as well as the NASCAR National Series, Cody looks to expand into the IndyCar Series after running tests this season for the team. The Dreyer and Reinbold Racing team will once again be fielding an Indy 500 only entry in the 2021 season. While no official announcement has been made, all signs point to the number 24 being driven once again by Sage Karam. The 2013 Indy Lights champion has driven the Indy 500 for the Dreyer and Reinbold team every year since 2014, with the 2015 part-time ride with Chip Ganassi Racing being the only exception. While only starting a handful of IndyCar oval events, Sage Karam does have multiple top 5 finishes, showing that he can compete if he's in contention late in the race. And the final expected part-time entry for the 2021 IndyCar Series season is that of Top Gun Racing. Though not officially announced, the team is expected to enter the number 75 Chevrolet for R.C. Anderson. Thanks to open engine leases at Chevrolet due to other teams downsizing, Top Gun is expected to run a Chevrolet engine with R.C. Anderson in his first Indy 500 attempt. While only having a few seasons in the Road to Indy program and only 4 IndyCar Series starts, R.C. Anderson looks to make the most out of his big break come this May. And there we have it, the full field of NTT INDYCAR Series teams for the 2021 season. Which driver do you think will do the best with their new team for the season? Which drivers do you think will be bumped from this year's running of the Indianapolis 500? And of course, who is your pick to win the 2021 NTT INDYCAR Series Championship? Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below and like the video if you enjoyed it. As always, subscribe to the Burnout Network for more great racing content, and until next time, burn it down!